Hi, Tanja here and welcome to Tmjtv, a weekly video series aimed at real estate leaders that would love more time to grow their people and their business. Did you know that leaders spend up to 80% of their time navigating the people, performance and productivity issues within the business? Now this means their focus is off recruiting for results, delivering strategies for success and gaining the market share that they desire. Well, I'd love to help. Every single week I'm going to share insights and free downloadable tools to help you and your people achieve your success in the least amount of time. I hope you enjoy this next episode of Tmjtv. Hi, Tanja here and welcome to Tmjtv, a weekly video series dedicated to real estate leaders and teams that want to grow themselves and their people in the least amount of time. And I'm here with a woman that I call the Data Queen. She is Head of Property Marketing for CoreLogic Australia. Kylie Davis, I feel like we need an applause soundtrack for you. Because you've been everywhere, man, lately. You've been on Sky News and all over social media. So thank you for taking the time to
My pleasure.
hang out, because we've been working on a little project for a while, so
it's been great.
It has been fun. So I just want to start by saying thank you, right, to you and obviously CoreLogic Australia for saying yes to finding out what it looks like to lead in, real estate in Australia today.
Yep. No, we were very curious to find out what that was going to look like. Yep.
So we have the executive summary, and you have deep dived into these statistics over the last little while, and we're working together on a full report of findings that will come out early July. And really, data is your space. You're not called the Queen of Data for nothing. From all the projects that you've done, because you did the buyer and vendor perceptions of real estate agents in 2015 and 2016. Why data? Why do you love hacking into people's realities like you do?
I want to know what makes things tick. So my background is as a journalist. I see stories in data, there's absolutely no doubt about that. And what I love is having a hypothesis or thinking, I wonder why that happens, and then looking at the data and being able to understand, well, that's why that happens, or we thought that happened and now we actually know how much it's happening by, and then you can actually start to work out, well, what happens next? And now that we know that, how can we fix it? And then how do you measure it, and how do you actually know that So for me, data is kind of the way to identify what's happening, identify how much it's happening by, and then work out what levers can you pull to start to change it.
So why leadership? Why did you personally and CoreLogic Australia say, yeah, this is something we want to have a look at?
So I've been really curious. I mean, I've been in the real estate industry, or observing the real estate industry now for about 7 years or so, and we hear, coming to AREC every year for about the last 8 years, been hearing all these stories about what high performance looks like and what high performing agents look like and high performing teams, and heard all these amazing examples, but they've all been anecdotal. There've been great individual stories about how people have done it, and some great lessons in there. But what I want to do at CoreLogic is start to capture bigger sets of data to say people who do it this way are having these kinds of results that are different to what an average agent is doing typical or traditional or standard things. So we're trying to capture across the whole spectrum of performance, from how agents prospect, list and sell, and how they do property management, all the way through to how their teams are being led and what those skills are, to really understand how much could I improve if I started to follow that advice or that stuff.
Do you think learning these will give you an insight as to also how you guys lead in CoreLogic Australia and how it applies to teams in the company that you work with?
Oh yeah, I think it's silly to go and analyse leadership and then go, oh yes, but we don't need to do that. We would never need to do that. No. Yeah. So I think it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think the lessons that come out of it. I think where it's really interesting for the real estate industry is because the industry is trying to deal with that traditional stereotype of an agent being a white shoe brigade, sell your grandmother, untrustworthy that is still very prevalent in conferences like AREC. Make you realise how many amazing people work in real estate. And as an industry, I think we're all really committed to changing that perception, making sure real estate agents have a future by delivering great service. And so I see kind of some of this research as some of the tools to help them understand what sort of service, to what kind of level, you know, what do I got to do?
And that was definitely, you know, one of my intentions, learning that vendors and buyers really wanted greater levels of trust and transparency, and that the level of confidence dropped as they went through the transaction. So if that's what the client's experience is, what can we do as leaders in the industry to support our teams to up the standards of the client's experience, because it starts at home, you know, it really starts in the offices that you're working in.
And one of the guys from the Michael Coombs team, she had a great quote during the conference, which was along the lines of, you have to put yourself in the situation of the buyer or the seller. If it was me, what would I expect? What would I want to have? What would I want that experience to look like and feel like? And then you have to deliver to that, because that's completely reasonable. And I think the kind of core thing at the leadership is to actually think, if I was being led like this, like to put yourself as your staff or your clients as leaders, how would I feel being led like this? Is it good enough? Am I okay? Would I want something different? If the answer is yes, do it different.
do it different. For me, if we go to these, the really key findings, you know, certainly in the work that I do as a coach, one of the alarming things for me, and a real core driver as to why I wanted to do deeper research, was to learn that 30% of leaders are spending up to 50% of their time navigating the people, performance and productivity issues, which means they're being reactive and not being able to deliver on their strategies and gain the market share they desire and recruit for results. What are some of the, you know, most standout pieces of information that you can see that it's like, wow, okay, that's really interesting?
So I think what I can see in the data so far, because we have sort of just had a quick look at it, but the higher the education level of agents, and the more agents understand the value of training and connecting with their team, the better their performance is. So we did some numbers that looked at, so 44% of those that we surveyed were having a good year of up to about 10%
growth.
27% said that they were having even better than that, so they were really gunning it, but the market's very hot at the moment in most states, so you would hope that would be the case. But what we saw when we looked more deeply at the number of agents whose performance was flatlining or going backwards, is that they were the ones who didn't really have great process around meeting with their staff.
Consistent.
You know, consistent leadership, things like having business plans or one-on-ones with their team. What alarmed me in the numbers was there was something like 30% of people who, when we asked them the question about talent acquisition, they were like, what?
What's that?
What's that? And you think, oh no, that's a bit scary. So there's some really good insights in this into some really basic things that, or basic training or overviews that the industry can start to lift from tomorrow.
82% of principals felt that they were qualified to do the job and lead the business, which is great, so they feel qualified. And then there's
those who are drowning.
Those that are like, I'm doing the best
waving,
and
I'm drowning.
I'm getting by each day, and I could really use some help and support. So
I think the question then too is what help and support can be offered and who's best to do that.
Because there's no shortage of training and coaches
this industry
and resources and events like ARIC. So what's missing that they're not either engaging or aren't aware, or just are aware but then are just so snowed under, because as we know, leaders spend a lot of their time working in the business and on the business, and that's one of the biggest challenges that there is. How do you know how much, especially if you're still listing and selling as a principal? We looked at the different leadership styles, and 23% said that they were affiliative, which means that they put a lot of emphasis on team members and building great morale and helping them feel good about the place that they work in.
Yeah, but you know the fun thing that came out of that piece of research?
Yes, I know. Where are you going to go with this?
So we found that while most principals said that they were either affiliative or coaching, their staff said that they were authoritative, or I think
coercive.
I think coercive was the other one.
Yeah, it was.
So while people in their heads have this idea of what kind of leader they are, their staff aren't necessarily seeing a lot of alignment in their behaviour to that ideal.
And coercive is more kind of do as I say approach.
Don't do as I do.
No, this is, exactly. So and look, everyone works with the best intentions. It's kind of a nice philosophy to have, but perception is reality. So I think it'd be good to kind of do more deep diving into what is it that leaders are thinking that they're, obviously they think that they're doing a lot of work around spending time with their people, but maybe there's a different expectation that their people have. Maybe they need to spend more time with them. I know from the 5 languages of appreciation, words of affirmation and quality time are some of the 2 strongest expressions of appreciating the team that they work with is what people want.
Yes.
So maybe leaders, because they're so busy, are not realising that their team want a little bit more time and, an opportunity to say, hey, Kylie, you're doing a good job.
And I think there's a nice consistency there with what we're seeing in the perceptions research too, because what buyers and sellers actually want is a bit more empathy from their agents. They want to feel that they're understood, and so again, taking that, the client is either a vendor, the client is either a buyer, or the client is either an employee.
100%.
Just hear me and see me for who I am, and help me on my journey, whether it's buying, selling, or my career in your company.
So this executive summary, we have like a high-level snapshot of some of the key findings, and certainly a lot more work's going to be done on a full report of findings that's coming out. Anything else that's kind of seems alarming or concerning to you that could negatively impact employers or consumers' experience?
We saw sort of numbers that were around about a third of agents, or a third of the real estate industry was excellent at doing things that were quite difficult. So initiating tough conversations, doing their fair share and setting the tone for the team, taking responsibility when things don't go to plan. So between 30 and 40%, all of those, that they were sort of done to an excellent standard. So there's 60% there that's either, good or,
good
average
or indifferent or whatever,
And I think too, the areas around making time for people, vision and strategy, more than 50% are still really struggling with that. So I think there's some stuff in that space too.
And the danger there is if people, A, don't know what they're working towards, and B, don't know what the strategy is to get there, that's a lot of human resources and time and energy and cost that is not really going into the direction that you want. Hence that reactive environment. And the opportunity really is when you have clarity around your vision, when your people know how they're going to get there, and certainly when they have a performance development plan to help them bridge the gap, and they feel appreciated, it'll catapult your level of productivity.
It'll be beautiful.
It'll be beautiful, exactly.
Everyone will be singing off the same song sheet. You'll come to work, it'll be a joy.
And wouldn't that be good?
Right?
Especially when everyone's doing the hours that they're doing and sacrificing time with their families and their kids. To just know that you're all working to the same direction and getting some, momentum is very rewarding. The full report of findings is on its way. You've had a bit of a big quarter and a breath, and so now it's time to kind of...
The next couple of weeks I shall catch my breath, I hope, and we'll get stuck into it. Just need to let them know where to get it from.
Well, I think, yes.
This is great.
So it is good. And look, the whole intention for this was to help corporate teams, principals, and leaders, and also service providers just reverse engineer content to be able to bridge the leadership gaps and really have this inquiry into what are we doing really well, how can we share what we're doing well, and then where are the greatest opportunities to help turn our workforce into the life source of our business. So if you would like a digital copy of this, the PDF is available at all the W's, tmjcoaching.com.au, and so just go onto the homepage and you can just download that straight away. Then you'll automatically go into receive a full report of findings, which will be more extensive document with greater insights and details. Thank you so much, Kylie, for your partnership, and
it's been good fun.
Thanks for turning all this data into some beautiful imagery that can kind of make
Lara
sense.
Did that. I have to thank Lara Scott.
A shout out to Lara Scott too, because she took all this data and made it look digestible and pretty and easy to understand and easy for us to work with. So thank you, Lara Scott. Love your work. And thanks again, Kylie Davis and CoreLogic Australia.
Thank you.
I hope you found that useful. If so, please like it and share it. And if you'd like access to the free downloadable tool, just click on the available link. If you also have any questions or challenges, specifically in the area of leadership or mindset, just write it in the comments below, and where possible, I'll provide solutions to your requests. Remember, let love lead, and you can turn your workforce into the life source of your business. I'll see you next week for more TMJ TV.